really need to stretch my legs. Should I have dance break? Boop, 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 boop. Hey friends! So this is probably as pink as you guys will ever see me. Pink shirt, pink hair, nudish, peachy-ish lips. Look, this is as girly as it's gonna get. Alright? So live it up while girl can. So, it's true crime time. Now this one, oh, damn. Look, you're gonna need to, you know, get your adult beverage. If you don't drink, get some popcorn or something, and sit down and buckle up, because this is gonna be a long one. Well, at least I think it'll be a long one. At the very least, it will be, look, it's an extremely gruesome and sad story. So, if viewer discretion is most certainly advised. Okay? Just if you got a weak stomach, watch this near a toilet. So today we're talking about Belle Gunness. Now, I had never heard of Belle Gunness before, probably because she was born in this all happened in the early 1900s, and like she was born in the late 1800s, and so that's the time frame we're looking at, which is probably why I've never heard of it before, obviously. So anyway, Belle Gunness. Now, Belle was also called Lady Bluebeard. If you don't know who Bluebeard is, Google him. And Hell's Belle. She was honestly, she was just, I mean, I'm not saying that she's got the highest body count, but she has a very large body count, and she was just cruel. She was cruel, and the people that look, we'll get into that. Okay, we'll get into that. Belle Gunness was born in Norway. She was born on November 22nd, 1859 in Selbu, Norway. So she was born Brynhild Polstetter Streths. Brynhild Polstetter Streths. Look, it's a Norwegian name. Don't come for me, please. We're just going to go with Belle. Okay, so she was born on November 22nd in 1859 in Selbu, Norway, and she was the daughter of a stonemason and his wife, and she was the youngest of 8 children. They were born into a very, very poor family, and they had a pretty rough upbringing. In 1881, could have been 1881. Oh yeah, so 1859, so 1881, so she would have been 22? Yeah, 82. 22. So in 1881, she immigrated to Chicago in the USA to live with her sister. In 1884, so she immigrated to Chicago to live with her sister in 1881, and she actually ended up getting married in 1884 to someone named Mads Sorensen. They did go on to have, or they had 2 surviving biological children whose names were Lucy and Myrtle, and then they had 2 children who didn't survive infancy, who were Caroline and Axel. I felt like Axel was quite a weird name for that time period. Anyway, they also had a foster daughter named Jenny Olsen as well. So they technically had 3 kids. So they did open and run an unsuccessful confectionery store, which burned down in mysterious circumstances a year after it opened. When they collected the insurance money from the unsuccessful confectionery company or confectionery store, they used that money to buy a new house or a new home, which was all very convenient, wasn't it? So not too long after they married, so they were married for about 6 years, I think, and then Mads, her husband, died on the 30th of July in 1900. So the first doctor that they had that sort of like arrived on scene, I guess, concluded that he died of strychnine, poisoning. Don't know how you say that. It is like a white, odorless but bitter powder, and it's like a neurotoxin that primarily affects your motor nerve fibers in your spinal cord, which controls muscle contraction. Not a doctor. So they basically said that he was poisoned, but then Gunness's doctor came in, so the family doctor, she was Belle Sorensen then, but they came in and basically overruled that and said that he had died of a heart attack because that doctor, their family doctor, had been treating him for heart issues for years prior. So it was, you know, for shoresies, a heart attack. So Belle got away with murder number 1 that we know of. So this is where, you know, plot twist. Coincidentally, he died on the day that his 2 life insurance policies overlapped. So there was like one day where his old policy, his old policy was coming out of and his new policy was coming in, and they overlapped for a day. And he died on the day it overlapped. So Belle got paid out a double insurance claim on his life. Nobody was catching on at this point. Confectionery company or the chocolate store or whatever you want to call it, insurance claim. Her husband, double insurance claim. This is why, like, people like her are the reason that we can't get good insurance if we've made a claim already. You fucked it for all of us, Belle. So she, with the money that she got from this payout, she purchased a 42-acre farm in Laporte in Indiana in 1901. It just keeps going. So soon after she purchased it, just a portion of the farm burnt down, and she collected an insurance payout again on this portion of the farm. Like, I feel like four insurance payouts in like 5 years. Come on, man, catch on. So in April 1st, on April 1st in 1902, she actually remarried. So it didn't take her very long, you know, like, so her last husband died on the 30th of July 1900, and she was married again by April 1st in 1902. So she married a local butcher and widower, whose name was Peter Gunness, which is where she got her last name, or the last name she died with anyway. Peter had 2 daughters that he brought to the marriage with him. One was kind of like an infant or baby-ish, and the other one was a little bit older. A week after the wedding, Peter's infant daughter died under mysterious circumstances while in Belle's care. So basically, Peter kind of knew something wasn't right. Like, obviously they had an insurance claim for the daughter too, the baby. He's pretty, I mean, I don't know how normal it was back then. I mean, I think it's pretty normal to have an insurance claim when you're kids. Like, so they had insurance claim on the baby, and then Peter kind of realized that something wasn't right, and so he moved his other daughter to go and live with relatives, which was probably a smart fucking move, because she was the only person, including Belle's own children, to ever survive Belle Gunness. Breaks your heart, doesn't it? Within a year, Peter was also dead. He was apparently killed by a sausage grinder and a jar of hot water that fell on him in December of 1902. So it didn't even last a fucking year before Peter was dead. The coroner did believe that he was murdered because there was evidence of strychnine, whatever we decided that was going to be, poisoning in his system, and the coroner did order an inquest, but it didn't really sort of come to fruition. So Jenny, the foster child, Belle's foster child that she got with her first husband, she apparently told school friends, "Mama killed Papa. She hit him with a meat cleaver and he died. Don't tell a soul." And nobody did, like, poor. Belle played a perfect grieving widow basically throughout the whole fucking Peter thing. She said all the right things, she did all the right things, and there was no hard evidence that was found during the coroner's inquest. So Belle received his life insurance, and 6 months after his death, 6 months after his death, this is the thing, she was pregnant when he died. So 6 months after he died, she gave birth to their son, Philip Gunness, who also did not survive Belle. So, not long after Peter died, and Belle was done playing the grieving widow, fucking good actor she must have been, hey? She would start putting ads in matrimonial columns, in like papers and stuff, and basically she would write, I'm going to read this off my little thing because it's like a direct thing and I can't remember it word for word. A woman who owns a beautifully located and valuable farm in first-class condition wants a good and reliable man as partner in the same. Some little cash is required for which will be furnished first-class security. So that's basically how she kind of lured in her victims. So the next thing to happen was Jenny Olsen's. Jenny, the foster daughter, was last seen in 1906. She became suspicious of the killings and stuff, and basically Belle kind of disposed of her, but Belle just told everybody that she had gone away to go to school or something, or she had moved away to California. Which unfortunately was not the case, but we'll get into what actually happened to them in a little bit. Belle did away with her. She would have been, I think said she was 16, 15 or 16 at the time that she died. No one's really 100% sure because nobody found her body or her remains until years later. So this is where everything kind of came out. So on April 28th in 1908, Belle's farmhouse burnt to the ground. It was gone, it was demolished, it was done with, it was over. So when the town authorities searched the burned down farmhouse, they found the bodies of a headless woman, which was believed to be Belle, and her 3 children. So her 3 children being Lucy, Myrtle, and Philip. Because Jenny had already gone away to school. So her 3 children, Lucy, Myrtle, and Philip, who were 11, 9, and 4 at the time of their death, were all found in the house in the basement with a headless woman who was believed to be Belle at the time. So basically, they originally just thought that Belle was some kind of victim in foul play, and that she just, just bad luck. There was some kind of robbery or something went down. They burned the house down to cover their tracks, and all the kids and Belle died. This is it was never going to end there though, right? It's because this is, so one of the men that answered her ad, Andrew, I can't say this, Helgeline, his brother, who, okay, when I say this, I would say Isle, it's A-S-L-E is his name. So Andrew's brother, Isle, came to Laporte looking for his brother, basically insisted that Belle had done something to him, like Belle was involved in his disappearance somehow, and she was, so because of this, I suppose, development and what Isle had said, the authorities decided to search the property. When the authorities searched Belle's, after it had burned down and Isle was all gung-ho about her having done something to his brother, I really need to stretch my legs. Have a dance break. Boop, 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 boop. So, once Andrew's brother Isle had basically said, no, Belle's done something to my brother, you need to find him. They searched her farmhouse. When they did this, they found 11 other bodies. Of these, hold up. Of the 11 other bodies, so 11 other bodies on top of the 4 that were in the basement. They included 3 adolescents, an infant. We all remember Peter's infant daughter. 3 adolescents, an infant, and a woman. And they also found the remains of Andrew and Jenny buried next to each other near the hog pen. So it's like 3, 4, 5, 7. Plus there's like 4 more randos. So the headless corpse in the basement was actually officially identified as Belle, because they matched, like Belle's dentist matched the bridgework in her mouth and said, you know, yes, I designed that and put that in for Belle. That is Belle's dental records. Like it matches. Here comes in the break. So Ray Lanfield was Belle's farmhand and her apparent lover. He was basically like, they were like, well, you obviously burnt the farmhouse down. Like, who else would have done it? So he was not convicted of any murders as such, but he was convicted of arson, and he was sentenced to 21 years in jail for arson. So they were obviously like, no, mate, you did those murders. Like, you did that. Like, that was all you. I mean, they did think that Belle had, I think that they thought that Belle had done the killings and stuff, and then she just kind of succumbed to foul play by Ray, but they couldn't prove it, so they just did him for arson. Locked him away. A year after he got locked up, he did get tuberculosis, and on his deathbed, he was talking to a pastor, and he confessed to the pastor that he did not kill anyone. However, he did help Belle get rid of specifically Andrew Haringalachana's body. So he basically claimed that she would get these men to come over from the matrimonial columns. She would get them to deposit money into her account in order to purchase shares in her farm. And then she would invite them to, like, they'd have dinner, and she would basically drug their dinner and then, like, hit them over the head with a meat cleaver. She would basically then go on to butcher and dismember all of the victims, and she would either feed them to the hogs or bury them near the hog pen. One source said that Lanfield demanded hush money. Like, boy, sweetie, no, just mate. If you have literally helped her dismember someone she has already killed, not to mention, like, grown-ass men she's already killed, and you helped her do that, like, get rid of them, she's obviously capable of killing you. You do not demand hush money from someone you know is capable of killing you, and obviously has no issues killing friggin' kids. I gotta stop saying killing. Ray, good old Ray, demanded hush money from Belle, and instead was fired on the spot from being her farmhand and apparently her lover. She charged him with trespassing when he came back onto the property to try and get his belongings. At some point they did reconcile somewhat though, because he also admitted that he went down to Chicago with her to find a housekeeper. This housekeeper was basically to be a body double for Belle, and then they decapitated her together. Fucking plot twist. Plot twist. Okay, so, fact of the matter is, Belle decapitated this poor bloody housekeeper from Chicago. Went and got her from Chicago so nobody would, like, in town would notice that they were missing or whatever. They last saw them with Belle or what have you. Like, they wouldn't even know. Decapitate the poor girl, put her bridge work in her mouth, put her in the fucking basement, did some shit to her kids, chucked them in the basement, set the thing on fire, and took the fuck off. Look, even now, it's not, like, they never really found out if this was true. They never found out if that was really Belle down there or not. Not for certain, anyway. They did obviously have that inkling. They were like, yes, no, that wasn't Belle. She got away. Mostly, like, there was pretty compelling evidence, I guess, to say that that's the case, because she did drain her bank accounts like 2 days before the fire, which had $250,000 in it, which, like, today would be over $6 million. So, like, equivalent to like $6 million. So she just drained her bank accounts, and then, like, where'd that money go? Like, they would have found some remnants of it in the fire if that was Belle, right? I don't think they can test anything today. The bodies and the DNA, everything is too degraded. It was too long ago. Like, there's no one's ever gonna know for certain. However, there were, like, a lot of sightings of her over the years. The most prominent one being a woman named Esther Carlson. Esther was arrested in 1931 for murdering August Lindstrom for his money. Esther did die in jail before she could be tried. The attorney warden in Laporte, is it Laporte? Laporte. Very fancy. Sent two people who knew Belle when she lived in town to identify the body after he received a photo of Esther. They did identify the body as Belle. However, this was it was never, I guess, officialized, basically. So, look, wasn't as long as I thought it was going to be, but, like, she just, let me know your thoughts. Like, you got to be all kinds of messed up. Like, I can almost, look, I don't understand it, nor do I condone it, but being a black widow is one thing, right? Like, you kill your husbands, or, like, you would do shit for insurance, that's fine. But your own children? Or anyone's children? Children in general, but your own? Like, look, the good news is that if Esther Carlson was Belle Gunness, she is dead, or she died in jail at the very least. I mean, obviously she didn't spend very long in jail, but she died in there at least. I don't know, like, $6 million though? $6 million, and what was it? So April 1908, oh no, so that's like, fuck, that was a long time. She did well. I mean, not that I'm praising her or anything, but man, if that really was her, she lasted. That's like 22 years after that she lasted without getting caught. Look, if you guys have ever heard of this story and you have any other theories on it, please do feel free to let me know. What do you think? Do you think Belle is still, was still alive? Do you think Belle was Esther? I personally do. I think that there was far too much, where did the money go? If she didn't run and take it with her, why was the female body decapitated in the basement? You know, all of the kids in the basement had that strychnine poisoning shit in their system, so they didn't just die in the fire, they were dying anyway. She used the fire to cover it up. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just doesn't make sense for that to have been the end. It does, like, after all of that it doesn't make sense for that to have been the end for her. So I 100% believe that she took the money and she covered herself and she ran. Even if she did pull her own bridge work out of her mouth and put it in someone else's. Like, gotta give her some credit for being inventive. I mean, this was the early 1900s. I'm surprised she even thought of that shit. Well, I hope you had fun. I hope you had a good time. If there's any particular stories that you guys want me to look into, I do prefer to do things that aren't well known. Like, I don't want to cover Ted Bundy and stuff. I did Eric Edgar Cook because he's so prominent in Australia, and I wanted to start off with me home country. But I do prefer things that I've never heard of before, and things that, you know, like, I don't know much about. Lizzie Borden interests the hell out of me, so I think I'm going to do her soon. I watched the movie with the chick from Casper the Friendly Ghost and Wednesday Addams in it. They made like a movie of Lizzie Borden's life. and that was really intriguing. So I really want to go through that because I don't think that that movie was ridiculously accurate. Probably not anyway, so I want to do that one. But I do want to do things, I do feel like she's quite well known, so I do want to do things that aren't as well known. And so if you guys want to give me some suggestions, I'd be down. I love this shit. I actually, like I said before, I was watching the Unabomber one, and I'm going to go and finish watching that right now. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you had fun. I had fun. I had a good time. I'm enjoying my pink wig. Might try blue next time. I think we're going to stick with the wigs. The wigs might be a thing. So, yeah. Thanks so much for watching. Please, if you could press that big red subscribe button, that would be absolutely fabulous. And I would love you forever. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye, friends.